Non-human beings created this realm and control this realm and bring human souls into an artificial world construct in order to farm humans for food, using our energy in the form of fear and other negative emotions like the movie Monsters, Inc. as their source. When we die, we get tricked at the key moment when we can turn away from all this by aliens disguised as beings of light or former loved ones. You would then go into a tunnel of light or up a stairway of light. Doing either will cause us to enter the reincarnation cycle and be back in another life in the soul farm. This is it. What's really important, of what we need to focus our time on. This is it. All about exiting Plato's cave. This is a bit of the problem I have. More and more stuff is coming up, and the problem is there's lots of people talking about Plato's cave, how to notice you're in Plato's cave, how to notice the illusions of Plato's cave. Do you know how many actually are telling you how to exit Plato's cave? 0. None. I kid you not, I found 0. That includes books, movies, it doesn't matter. They all attempt to show you how to make Plato's cave better, how to improve your experience in the cave, in a sense, how to make prison life enjoyable. Even the people studying this topic can see it's an illusion. People can see that they're being tricked, but they believe the layer of religion, New Age philosophy, which has just exploded and is one of the biggest tricks that is being played on you. And you have to see that the truth of your situation is you've been reincarnating in here over and over and over again. And it has nothing to do with karma. It has nothing to do with school. It has to do with being tricked and deceived for thousands of years to come back into this realm to be a source of food for a group of alien beings known as archons, led by the creator of this realm, the demiurge. And to exit Plato's cave, you have to know this, and you have to prepare yourself, not how to make this realm better, to function better within this realm, but as long as you're trying to fix it, as long as you're trying to make this place what you believe it's supposed to be, it's got you trapped. There are so many layers, so many constructs to this. What's really important, of what we need to focus our time on, this is it. Do you want to risk being reincarnated back into that? Back into the metaverse? If this isn't enough to get you to want to leave, good luck with what you're going to get later on. But for those of us seeing through this lie, there's no better time to leave than now. And I think the system knows that. But again, a lot of information gets presented about this. There's almost no information being presented of what you do. Information on the subject, things you can do that will help in this experience, that will help you in actually exiting. Like I say, I've looked through movies, books, 0, none. Lots of people think they're giving information about exiting the cave. Lots of people think that's what they're doing. Lots of people think they're telling you how to overcome this thing known as a soul reincarnation trap. But when all you have to do is read it carefully, they're not. The Cathars, they saw the same thing. They saw that this is a place where the soul is trapped by an evil demiurge into an artificial simulation, and their only focus was to get out. Okay, great. They're on the same path as we are. Fantastic. So scary to the Catholic Church, they needed to, have a crusade against them and exterminate them. But once you look into what is presented about them and what is presented about what they were doing, either they were accomplishing nothing, because what you see presented for what they did takes you nowhere, or B, if they were really going to have success, they had to be doing something else completely. So a whole chapter has to go into overturning these beliefs, overturning these ideas. I'm doing another chapter on Plato's cave itself, which is showing it's actually a terrible analogy. We've seen lots of interpretations of it, and I was told and I've read it myself years ago, but I've been told over and over again how great it is, how a terrific analogy it is, and it's got huge omissions, huge gaps, huge things in it that should be there that are not. So either the Plato's cave analogy is either A, it's a much longer version that's been edited down to the crappy version we have now, or it's actually created as misdirection. There can't be no other option because the most important things are not there. The most important things of understanding our reality, which is what this story is supposed to do, are not there. So I've got a whole chapter destroying that, right? A whole chapter, I guess, is destroying spirituality and the New Age and digging into what the Cathars were. Another chapter will be digging into all the movies that are supposedly presenting this information from Dark City to Westworld to whatever. And some of them are good, but most of them don't have any information on how to exit. I think it's absolutely critical that if you really want to reach the totality of yourself, you can't be in a simulation. You can't be in an artificial construct and be home. We don't belong here. Simple as that. We don't belong here. That's one piece Dark City is very clear of. The humans in Dark City were taken by the strangers from another world and brought into the Dark City environment. But they, just like Plato's cave, they don't tell where they came from. No information. And that's how we have to see things. As long as you're in the construct, it doesn't matter whether it's Earth realm, astral realm, super happy realm. It doesn't matter. You're in the construct. You're still in a layer of Plato's cave. Plato's cave has many layers. And if you're going to get out, it requires a lot of work. And you have to recognize, is this a school? Is this a prison? Well, it can't be a school. The reason it cannot be a school is because of the memory wipe. This is something that happens to every single time you get tricked back in here. And you get tricked. You get tricked and deceived and contracted back in here. And you're given a memory wipe. It's pretty obvious that if you're here to learn something, well, you have to have memory. If I touch a stinging nettle plant and I burn my fingers, the memory becomes valuable because next time I go to the plant, oh yeah, I have to wear gloves so I don't get stung again this time. Yeah, right. You learn through memory. If your memory is taken away, then there is no learning. And if you figure every single life is wiped out completely, then it doesn't matter what you did in a it doesn't matter what you do in this life. It doesn't matter how much you learn in this life. If you're going to come back in a new one and all of this is erased from your memory, your learning is zero. Each time a Westworld robot has died, they are taken to mission control for a cleanup and then a memory wipe so that they will forget the last incarnation and go back into the field with their programming intact so they can be shot or raped again. That is the big reason for the memory wipe in our life. Because if we really could remember how much suffering we had gone through in life after life, we would have long ago shut down any incarnations here. The whole reincarnation soul trap can only work with a memory wipe. That means learning is out of the question. We are just here to be used. Exactly what we are used for. Simple energy food for the system is speculated, or as an entertainment, non-player character pieces for non-human entities to come into this realm. But again, a key element is having no memories of other lives. Once that changes in Westworld, when Dolores and Maeve begin having memories of their other lives they've had and how they've been treated, a new inner strength emerges for them to break out of the Westworld prison. This show is about prisoners in Plato's cave realizing their real situation and deciding to get out no matter what it takes. And that's where we have to be. We have to see that a big part of this is a happy, wonderful place, what you might call love and light spirituality, that's the blue pill of Morpheus. And the average person can't get enough of it. If you really want a red pill, you have to be ready to leave. And to leave properly means you've got to prepare for what you're going to deal with after the transition death phase. It's not to be afraid of death. It's the opposite. It's to become immersed in trying to understand it. I don't know what's going to happen after I die for sure. Of course, I've had my death experiences. I have some ideas, but now I see I've taken things too much on hope, too much on concepts, too much on whatever, and just kind of just left it there. And it's a big part of this work for me personally, going the next step and saying, what is the most likely things that are going to happen, that are going to be placed upon us, and how do we be as ready as possible to deal with what's going to happen? Pretty simple, right? Even these ideas of oneness or self-realization or any of these terms, these become traps like any other traps. You have to see your situation, our situation, clearly, devoid of all hopes, wishes. You have to see it in stark honesty. And once you see it in stark honesty, something can happen. But the most important part is then to ask, so what? And this is what you should be doing of every book. You have to recognize that the realm is an insane clown show. It's hell. That's what this is. There's no hell after you die. It's here. This is it. You have to recognize that. But that doesn't mean there are ways that you can, while you're here, ways that you can make your own realm, make your own experience smoother. If you're going out there to fix the world, you're going to find out that the world's going to run. The world, this realm is a machine, and you have to shut down the machine because you're not going to be able to change it. The machine is in motion, and the machine will keep going. And that's where the majority get caught. The majority is going to fix the machine. The majority thinks that something wonderful and loving made this place so that they can love and enjoy and experience and have wonderful things going on. When you see that that's not true, when you finally come to grips with who created this reality, why it was created, and what's being done with it, then your door will open. Then you can see more clearly what you have to do, what you have to turn away from. I'm going to call it deceptive behavior. That I was being deceived and tricked in massive ways. At these areas, like I say, there's stacks of notes on this. You can't come to this material without having done work with belief structures and standard ideas and conditioning being overturned. So that work is important because as long as that's there and there is actually space inside of you to take in what is very dangerous and difficult material, then you can bring it in and you can work with it. You can churn it over inside. If it's just full of belief structures, if it's full of the system, if it's full totally of believing the way the system is and that the system is good still, nothing's going to get through. And you can't just rush to the end of this. You've got to have had some work in your life. Things have had to happen. Contemplation has had to happen. Some real philosophical thinking's had to happen. It's getting back into the consciousness. These ideas of the Nag Hammadi Gnostics and the Cathars and the very early Egyptians and some of these other movements. It's coming into our surface again because the outside world is now so insane. The craziest little news pieces from like the last 3 or 4 days, every single one of these is more stupid than the last one. We live in a world gone absolutely crazy. It's always been crazy. This has always been an insane world. It's never been okay. Now there's this huge movement of energy where more and more of this can be seen. The problem is then to ask, so what? And that's what you have to do with everything you come to. A lot of information might be presented to you and something, but then you ask, yeah, but so what? How is that going to be able, what am I going to do with this in my life right now? What am I going to be able to use this in my life? None. It's just information. This is what you can start to do with it.